Alright, so I'm just gonna say it up front. This video is not about fat acceptance. I'm not out here to convince anyone that I'm healthy or that I'm beautiful. I'm making this video because I want you to know it's okay to be who you are. It's okay that you exist and your life is no less valid than anyone else's. But I'm not here to create a safe space. I'm here to help you feel safe in an unsafe world. And to be honest, I'm talking to myself just as much as I'm talking to this camera because I know I'm not alone. I've been overweight for as long as I can remember. I don't have any memories of being skinny or what it's like to move around in a body that could be considered a healthy weight. 3 years ago, I was at my heaviest, 418 pounds. Right now, I'm in the 280s, and it's been a long journey that's still not over. And hopefully that's a process that I can cover in a future video. My lifestyle up until now has done a lot of physical damage to my body. But what I want to focus on right now is the mental damage. Because for as much help as there is out there about how to live a healthier lifestyle on the outside, I don't see anybody talking about how to live healthier on the inside. So what I'm talking about, and the overall topic of this video, is how to be comfortable in your own skin. Even if you feel like you have too much extra skin like my motherfucking ass. This is something I've struggled with my entire life. And although I know it's not exclusive to obesity, I think it's extremely common among our people. Now for me, and probably a lot of other people, this goes back to when I was very young. So I mentioned I've been fat my entire life, since before preschool, and some of my very first social interactions were negative experiences. I was teased, I was bullied from a very young age, and y'all know kids can be vicious. But the worst damage I did to myself, it was the way I internalized those experiences, and I think a lot of people end up struggling in similar ways. What I'm talking about is the concept of being seen. This can manifest in a number of different ways for different people, and when I was younger, I would retreat. Try not to stand out in any way whatsoever, because I realized on some level, when people notice me, they notice my size, and that gives them ammunition to fuck with me. As I got older, I got to a place where I felt like I had let a lot of that go. And to be honest, I did heal from a lot of it, but I still hated being seen. I wasn't even aware it was still a problem until last year when I started seeing a therapist. It's something I'm still actively working on, but as an example, when no one else is around and I catch myself in the mirror, sometimes I still say to myself, "You're fucking disgusting." See, my identity is still bound to that shame, and I don't retreat in the same way that I did when I was a kid, so I thought I was over it. I think what happened to me was I got older and I decided I'm not going to take people's shit anymore. So instead of retreating to sadness, I replaced it with anger. I became very suspicious of people I don't know. I'm always on guard, and there's a part of me that's always ready for conflict with anyone that does so much as stare at me. I realized it's so ingrained in me that I'm ready to start insulting anyone who looks at what I'm buying in the grocery store, or looks at what I'm eating. See, I'll be the first to admit, it's because I'm afraid. I'm afraid of feeling what I felt when I was a kid. That's still with me, and I'm still trying to protect myself against it. It's an automatic response that I have to fight down every single time, but I do fight it down because I recognize that you can never fully heal unless you come out of hiding. So here I am. It took me months to gain the courage to get on camera and make this video, and to be honest, I'm terrified of what people are gonna say, but here I am, and I'm inviting you to be out here with me. And that brings me to the next subject, which I think is a big part of being seen, and that's learning to be okay with the people that hate you. Now, this relates to what I was just talking about how I'm ready for conflict with anyone that can see me. I've been so conditioned to expect negative social response from people that I push them away before I even give them a chance. And the reality is, most people who see me don't give a shit about me. There are 7.6 billion people on the planet. I am not special. And even if I was, there are still going to be people who don't like me. I mean, mathematically, it's just impossible to make everyone okay with who I am. I mean, we can't even get people to agree that the earth is round. But that doesn't mean you have to give in and accept that you're not worthy. What it means is you can find your own worth, and you don't need the world to hand it to you because nobody's going to. Now, this is way easier said than done. I'm still working on it myself, and I don't even know if I'm making progress. But I do know the world is full of negative reinforcements, and we have to deal with them every single day. I read Reddit, for example, at least a little bit every day, and posts like this make it to the front page a lot. It can feel like on the internet, every time someone is fat on camera, no matter what they're doing, it seems like a discussion starts about how they're gonna die young if they don't do something about it. And they're not wrong. Another example, when I was at my heaviest, people would openly stare at me or avoid sitting next to me on the bus or in the theater. But that's not their fault. I get it, bro. I'm spilling over into the next seat. It's fine. But that's why I feel like the concept of being seen and being okay with the people that hate you are related. Because it is a lot harder to be comfortable in your own skin when there are constant reminders of the things that you hate about yourself. And it's a natural response to want to avoid those reminders. But when you do, you're also preventing yourself from getting used to the idea of being seen in the first place. And that's going to hold you back in the long run. And that's why I'm not trying to create a safe space for anyone, because you know as well as I do, out in the real world, there are no safe spaces. There are reminders everywhere. So what do you do about that? Well, you got to recognize nothing's going to change overnight. I didn't get to 418 pounds in one day, so I'm not going to reach my ideal weight in 24 hours either. There are no easy answers. Actually, I'm going to be honest, it's easy to go back into hiding. But the only thing that's going to do is make you feel better now, when what you want is to feel better for the rest of your life, right? So if you're expecting a switch you can flip or a pill you can take that'll make all the bad stuff go away instantly, you should probably reevaluate your expectations. Another thing you can think about is what you focus your attention on. You have more power than you might think. You can't change other people, but you can change yourself. Now, I gotta admit, there's a part of my brain that wants to say I shouldn't have to change myself just to be accepted by other people. And that's correct. I shouldn't, and I'm not. I'm working on my own happiness, not anyone else's. So by that logic, I can't expect to stay exactly the same and still have my life improve, can I? Ultimately, I'm trying to change the way that I live. So the focus should always be on me, not other people, and definitely not what the f other people think, because they're not me. They have their own life to worry about. So that's a lot, right? I gotta admit, it's one thing to be aware of all these things, but it's another thing entirely to implement them in your own life. I mean, where do you start? Well, again, this is something you can compare to the way a person becomes obese in the first place. It wasn't a single double cheeseburger that made me the way I am. It was a series of small choices over a period of time. Taking that for what it is, you have to recognize it's gonna be a concentrated effort. You can't do it all at once, and more importantly, you can't expect results all at once either. That's all good information, but it doesn't tell me what to get started on right now. Well, that answer is going to be different for everyone. And if you're serious about putting in the work, your first job is going to have to be to figure that out. What works for me isn't going to work for everybody else. I mean, hell, it may not even work for me, but I can give you an example of some small choices I've been making every day to kind of help me put a first foot forward. So I have a problem being seen, just like a lot of us do. It's something I want to work on. I want to get it to a point where it's something that I don't even think about, because that's when I'll know it's not a problem anymore. So I really had to think about the way that I behave and the lengths that I go to either avoid or cope with being seen. And I realized I watch people's eyes a lot. If we pass by each other at the store or on the street, I have this habit of trying to see where you're looking, because on the inside, I'm like a coiled fucking spring. I'm ready to fight anybody that looks at my man titties or looks at what food I'm buying. And although my long-term goal is to feel okay with strangers potentially judging me in public, because I've coped in this way for so long, I had to admit to myself that I'm not capable of going directly to feeling judged without wanting to fight somebody. So what I've started doing when I'm out in public is purposely moving my attention away from what other people are looking at. What I'm trying to do is redirect all that mental energy that I'm used to putting into coiling up that spring. It's a small step, and I can't say that I've experienced any benefit from it, but every time I catch myself, I force myself to redirect that energy, because the way I've been coping with it so far has affected my life negatively, and that's something I want to change. This isn't the only thing that I'm working on, but I would recommend you only tackle as many problems as you can handle. You gotta work within your scope. Remember, this isn't a race, this is your life, so you gotta work on a level that you know you won't give up on. But that does bring me to the last thing I wanted to discuss, and it's a large part of the reason why I'm here, and that's finding your people. This is something I'm trying to help myself with as much as I'm trying to help other people. It took a lot of courage to get on camera, but I'm out here, being human. I have to be seen. This is personal for me because I have this habit of deciding whether or not someone's the enemy before I even get to know them. And as alone as I felt while I've been in hiding, I know there are allies out there. We just have to find each other. Like I was saying earlier, it's easy to focus on the negative because a lot of us have been doing it for years. What I'm looking for is people that can help foster positive social interaction. Now, this sounds like creating a safe space, but it goes beyond that. I don't believe in focusing on just the positive and pretending the negative doesn't exist, because the real world has both positive and negative experiences, and I believe it's better to share those experiences with other people so we can face them as a community. Because what I see in a lot of other places is discussions coming to a halt or devolving into arguments because people are afraid of triggering others. But I'm thinking, why don't we just get triggered together? It's clear that most of this world doesn't give a fuck about our feelings, so why are we running away from that? We're a part of this world and we have to participate in it. It's unavoidable. We all want a place where we can feel comfortable in our own skin, and we can do that together, but the goal should be to extend that comfort into the rest of the world, because there's a lot of it that we're missing. The life I envision for myself is being able to face the things that trigger me, to look them in the eye and realize after the fact that they didn't even bother me, and I think that's where a lot of people want to be. I think one of the key factors in that healing is surrounding yourself with people who can acknowledge those triggers and pull you back into the moment without hiding them from you. People who can joke about them and help you realize it doesn't have to be that serious, and at the end of the day still like you for who you are regardless. I gotta be honest, I'm new to this. I've never started a community and I don't even know how many people like what I have to say, so I'm gonna start small. I've started a Discord and a subreddit. I'm just looking to have some discussions. We don't have to focus on obesity or positive or negative. I'm just looking for people who aren't afraid to be out here and be human with me. I'm gonna put the links down in the description. I welcome anyone to join. I just got laid off and I'm gonna be as active as I can. I'm there right now. Again, we can discuss anything. It's not only about obesity, and as time goes on, I intend to make videos about all the things that have put me into hiding. And you know what? It's a long list. All I ask is that you don't be toxic, because if you do, I'm gonna kick you the f out. At the same time, I don't personally feel like there's much that's truly off limits, so don't be afraid to be yourself, because I'm gonna be who I am. Overall, I just want to talk. I want you to talk to each other, and I want you to know that you're not alone. So come check me out. And if you like what I had to say today, then like this video and subscribe to the channel. I'm putting a new video out every 2 weeks, and hopefully I'll get better at it and be able to do it more quickly. But for now, thank you for watching.